Hi, I'm Sean Spence, CEO of Armchair Telethon, and this is Armchair Diary, Story of an Entrepreneur. Today I want to tell you all about 1 million cups because it's a pretty important part of my life, at least right now. Let me tell you what it is. 1 million cups, if you don't know, if you're an entrepreneur, you really should, but really everybody should because it's just fun and you could go. 1 million cups it's like everybody's having a cup of coffee, like entrepreneurs go to the coffee shop and have a cup of coffee, and that's what it's supposed to be. Lots and lots of conversations of the entrepreneurial community. It's a weekly meeting. It's mostly at 9 o'clock all over the country. There are around 150 1 million cups groups. There's one here in Columbia where I live. There used to be, it's not anymore, there used to be one in Madisonville, Kentucky, where I grew up, and it was the 1 million cups in the smallest town where there was one, was where I grew up. And so that was kind of cool, and I actually got to go there, and I presented my other business, Every Event Gives. I presented it, and my mom got to come, and you know, there were people that I grew up with. It was just really cool and made me happy. And that business is still alive and doing very well, so you know, it's all part of the deal. That was pretty cool. So 1 million cups was created by the Kauffman Foundation, which is just down the road from me, about 120 miles in Kansas City, and it is the largest foundation in the world in terms of supporting entrepreneurial activities and startups and businesses just figuring out how to get going and providing education for them and programs to help them. And it's just really awesome. And we're so lucky to have them here in Missouri. It's like a $2 or $3 billion fund. I mean, it's one of the biggest in the world. So anyway, great foundation. They started 1 million cups. I go there every Wednesday. Like I said, they're almost always at 9 a.m. in whatever time zone you're in. There are a few that vary a little bit, but mostly if you find one, it's going to meet at 9 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday mornings. So I do that an awful lot of Wednesday mornings. I am true blue 1 million cups. And what you'll find there is a bunch of people like me who are entrepreneurs and starting businesses, and people who are successful entrepreneurs and retired entrepreneurs, and there are always some bankers and some lawyers and people who are supporting the entrepreneurial community, and even an investor or two or three or four shows up now and again. And it's just a wonderful meeting where the entrepreneur presents their business and their challenges and how they got started and a cool story or two and what they're trying to accomplish. And they do that generally in like 6 minutes, sometimes as long as 10, but usually the limit is 6 minutes. And then there's Q&A it might be for a whole hour, it might just be for a half hour. Most have gone to the 1 hour format in the country because it's tough. Let me tell you what, these are all volunteer run. Nobody's getting paid. It's all volunteers, and they are super awesome. And it just kind of amazes me that they keep it going year after year after year. You know, shout out to Columbia, Missouri. We do a great job with our 1 million cups, and I won't start naming names because then I'll skip somebody and they'll get mad. But I will say Jennifer Shank, because she's doing such a good job. So go Jennifer Shank. Anyway, 1 million cups. When COVID hit, they all had to go virtual. Some of them totally shut down and didn't have any more meetings, and they'll start meeting in some number of months. But most of them went virtual. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to apply to every 1 million cups in the country, and I'm going to try to apply to all of them. And the short version is I have already spoken to 9 of them, 8 or 9 in the last couple of weeks. It's looking like I'm probably going to present to like 40 of them all over the country, all 3 time zones tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 o'clock a.m. in the morning. I think I've got 3 presentations tomorrow, but there may be 4. And the most I can ever do is 5 because of the time zones, and occasionally there's one that meets at 8 o'clock their time, and maybe it's 7 o'clock my time or whatever. So anyway, I'm doing these all over the country. I'm doing one after the other. I'm meeting lots of great people. I'm getting asked lots of great questions. It is truly an entrepreneurial nirvana. Now, I will say there was one example where they were just flat mean to me. And they basically beat me up for a whole hour. And I can't tell you who it is because if my mother ever found out, my 81-year-old mother would drive to wherever that place happens to be And they would, let me tell you, they would get an earful, only an earful if they were lucky. They might get smacks upside the head. But they seriously, I have never seen anything like it. It was just the most dysfunctional group, honestly, that I'd ever seen before. And to an extent, you know, I can get some things. There was one woman, and she was in her 70s, and I'm sure she'd been doing fundraising for, 40, 50 years. And she just could not wrap her mind around the idea that we could do an event and we could raise a bunch of money, as people have seen us do. They've seen us be successful at this. And they couldn't wrap their mind around us being able to do that without a ton of people and a ton of hours. And just, she couldn't understand the power of the internet and the power of large numbers. And really, it's so much of it is just based on the theory of large numbers and the fact that the internet gets you to all these people that otherwise it would cost you a lot of money to get to. And it just made her mad. And so then that kind of got everybody else started. And honestly, there were just some people who were just kind of rude, which, they're always that in any group that you're in. But then they kind of fed on each other and just got, it was just yucky. I will never go to that town again unless somebody hires me, because I would go anywhere if somebody wanted to hire me to raise money and do a good job for them. But anyway, other than that, every single 1 Million Cups I've been to has just been a joy. They have all made me better as a CEO. They have made my company better. They have made me think of things that I never thought of. Even when I wasn't working on a new company, going there makes me think of things, and it makes me smarter, and they're just fun, and they're caring and supportive. So look for 1 Million Cups if you're an entrepreneur. Figure out a way to support entrepreneurs if you're not an entrepreneur. And, just go have a great day. Whatever it is you're doing, whoever you are, go have a great rest of your day. This is Sean Spence, CEO of Armchair Telethon. This is Armchair Diary, story of an entrepreneur. And thanks for spending some time with me.